Happy Thursday to you, Central Georgia. Thanks for tuning in for a look at your extended forecast. First things first, before we jump into everything going on for the end of your work week, some areas got their fair share of rain yesterday, and I was going to take it there. I flash forwarded one graphic too far. Let's see if it's going to go back for me. Okay, 1 second. Sometimes it is a little finicky. There we go, right on time right there. So you can see your 24-hour rainfall totals here and take a look at where most of your rainfall did fall, and it was our south and our southeasternmost counties. And then you can kind of see a trail that connected over here up to the north and the northeast through areas like Swainsboro, up into Waynesboro, close to Sylvania, and then across the South Carolina state line. But some of the totals are pretty impressive, especially given that a lot of this rainfall fell in a matter of just a couple of hours, not just the 24 hours. But let's start from the top to the bottom, just over an inch around the Lake Oconee area, down to Lake Sinclair, just north of Milledgeville, closer to 2 inches. Only about a trace of rain in areas of central Macon, getting down into Warner Robins, not even enough to record a 1/10 of an inch in Macon and Warner Robins. So while most of our population does live in those two cities, our fair share of Central Georgia did see a lot more rain than those two did. Now we get over into Taylor County, where we do see a good trail of green going from west to east in Taylor County. 1.3 inches west of Butler, but closer to the downtown Butler area, closer to 3 inches of rain fell. Then we go down to our southernmost counties. Once again, if you're seeing these light blue colors, that's only going to be a 1/10, maybe 2/10 of an inch of rain in nature. 1 inch just south of Cordele, getting into northern Wilcox County, just over an inch. 2.5 inches around the Eastman area, and then some of these totals are pretty staggering. Right on the county line of Telfair and Wheeler counties, 4.1 inches of rain that fell once again within just an hour or two. So that did almost result in some flash flood warnings. We did get some reports of some washed out roads and mainly some of the dirt roads that are down there in those counties, but also maybe even possibly a dam at a pond breaching, and that did result in some overflowing of some water. Nearly 4 inches of rain just across the county line of Montgomery into Toombs County. And then you see up here closer to Soperton and Shrutland County, about 1.5 inches of rain. You take it up to southern Johnson County and just shy of an inch of rain. So south and southeastern Central Georgia, you got your fair share of rain yesterday. The good news is those who got left out of all the rain fun yesterday are looking to be included in it throughout today and possibly throughout tomorrow. So let's take a look at yesterday's almanac. 93 for a high temperature and then 72 for a morning low. So 1 degree above average on the low, right on par for the average high, and falling about 10 degrees shy of the record of 103 back in 1986. And then the record low, 58 degrees. Boy, that would feel very, very nice given the heat that we've had so far. Precipitation, we actually recorded about 2/100ths of an inch of rain in South Bibb County. That was pretty close to that marker that I put on the map just a minute ago in Warner Robins. So once again, not enough to total a whole 1/10 of an inch of rain, but it is a little more than a trace of rain in nature. Excuse me, sorry, allergies are acting up today. 3.67 inches above average where we should be this time of year. So we continue to watch that number go down, but it's still over 3.5 inches of rain above where we should be. We are doing just fine, even though it has been a little bit of a dry spell so far in the month of July. In fact, at Middle Georgia Regional Airport, we have recorded rainfall twice, but it's only equated to a mere 7/100ths of an inch. So we recorded that 2/100ths yesterday, and then on July 7th, which I do believe was Monday, we recorded about 5/100ths of an inch. It's good enough to put us into the very dry category for the month of July. Now for the entire year of 2025, we are not very dry by any means, but just compared to average so far for the month of July, we typically average nearly 5 inches of rain in the month of July, so it's a fairly wet one. And taking a look at your record, of course, it was set back in 1994, the flood of 94, 18.16 inches of rain. And that's just at the airport. That's not even accounting for some other areas that probably saw totals well above that, getting into 20, maybe 25 or 28 inches of rain. But so far, we are not matching up to either of those numbers very much whatsoever. Hovering still below an entire 1/10 of an inch of rain at Middle Georgia Regional Airport. The good news is that today and tomorrow we do have a decent shot at some rain. So let's take a look at your tropics. I forgot to update the day, but it's basically saying the same. No activity still expected in the Atlantic Ocean, in the Gulf, in the Caribbean over the course of the next 7 days. You see this big plume of Saharan dust right here that's traversing over into the central Atlantic Ocean, maybe creeping towards the Lesser Antilles over in the Eastern Caribbean. However, I will say we are looking well beyond, and we are maybe seeing a little bit of an indication of something forming that could be of tropical origin somewhere in the northern Gulf as we go past the week time frame. So of course, the National Hurricane Center monitors everything out for the next 7 days, but past that time frame, we get some slim predictions, and they are very low chances, but there are areas outlined mainly in the northern Gulf. But we'll have something to talk about as we go into the long-range models, which will be at the very end of this, so be sure to stay tuned for that. It is far from set in stone, but just trying to get the first indications if maybe we see something that is of tropical origin impact our forecasts. So overall, the wet stretch will continue. It's not a very long wet stretch. We got it kick-started yesterday, especially the farther south and southeast that you live. But the more impressive rain chances, those kind of above average rain chances for the summertime months, will continue once again for today and tomorrow. But as we head into the second half of the weekend, we are looking drier. Not entirely dry by any means. It's still hot, it's still humid. You're going to have your rain chances each and every day, but it is looking like a better likelihood that you will miss out on some rain and maybe just have to deal with some sunny skies, which will be great for outdoor plans if you go ahead and get your rain out of the way Thursday and Friday, and Saturday and Sunday are nice and dry days to enjoy the summertime fun. But it's staying swampy and hot, and like I said, that is the main reason why we are continuing to have these pesky rain chances each and every day. So right now, let's take a look at the quad view. We are doing some maintenance on our downtown Macon Skycam, but it does look like the cars are still moving down the street, so I think it is still online at this hour. But just getting a glimpse of some partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies all across central Georgia, not much in the way of shade, so you can be sure that these temperatures are definitely going to be warming up. How about some lower to mid 80s? One upper 80 I do see here in Gordon. That is not a good thing because Gordon's humidity is always running through the roof, so I imagine their feels like numbers have to be flirting with the triple digits right now. But let's see how we shape up against this portion of the country, and still pretty similar to areas all around us. Actually seeing some shades of orange up here getting into the Midwest and the southern Great Plains. 81 in Kansas City, 81 in Wichita, 82 in St. Louis, which is only 2 degrees shy of what we are here in Macon. 85 right now in Panama City, and I think that might be the warmest temperature that we do see on the map at this hour. Southern Texas hanging out in the low 80s as well, and it looks like some areas may be getting a little bit of an update. But you can see that our neighbors up to the north and the northeast that have been hovering pretty similar to us temperature-wise, a little bit cooler in the 70s in Charleston and up in Charlotte, and that's mainly due to the fact that they have a good amount of cloud cover and also some rain. There was some rain-cooled air over in Charleston, some thunderstorms that fired up early this morning, and that may continue to be a factor, but we'll get a big picture view on the satellite and radar in just 1 second. Super swampy. This super humidity continues to make its presence known, and the number one reason for that is this kind of southwestern orientation of these winds. It's just continuing to push that Gulf moisture up here into our neck of the woods, so the humidity is a little bit higher than it typically would on your run-of-the-mill summertime day. But we are looking at this breeze to get a little more westerly as we go throughout today. Whether it's coming dead from the west, whether it's coming from the southwest, not going to really matter because it's still going to enhance our rain chances. When you have dew point temperatures that are in the 80s, 80-degree dew point temperature in Milledgeville, 80-degree dew point temperature in Unadilla, 82-degree dew point temperature in Cordele at this hour. Everyone else is still not too far off those values. So what I tell you, I thought Gordon was going to pop up a 100, and they sure are, but they are not even the warmest of the bunch. We only see 4 triple-digit values, which actually I believe is a step down from the last couple of days. That's really hard to believe. 101 in Dublin is what it feels like. 101 in Unadilla. Feels like 102 in Cordele, where you can definitely see a bright pink shade pop up in Chris County, Dooley County, stretching over to Wilcox County. Everyone else is basically eclipsing that 90-degree mark with the exception of Eastman, with the exception of Thomaston and Swainsboro. Swainsboro is still hanging out and feels like temperatures in the upper 70s. I would love to be in Swainsboro right now, but that may be due to a couple of showers already early in the morning. Winds and wind gusts are going to continue to be a little bit breezy occasionally, mainly out of the west and the southwest throughout today. We can see more blue shade on this graphic than we have in the last couple of days, but at the most you see a 7-mile-per-hour breeze in Cordele, which normally would feel really good on a summertime day, but it is just blowing those 82-degree dew point temperatures in your face. It is super, super heavy air down in Crisp County right now. But your forecast for your Thursday is very similar to what we experienced yesterday. It's just going to have a little bit more coverage of rain, at least in some areas that haven't gotten any rain as of the last couple of days. Afternoon showers and storms are still going to be in place, and a high temperature of 92 degrees. We hit 93 yesterday. That was right on par with average. I think we might not hit that number today, specifically because our rain chances are looking to fire up a little bit earlier. So let's take a look at your heat index graphic. This doesn't look near as bad as it has the last couple of days. You can see that for the next couple of hours, we are going to continue to watch those numbers climb. But once we get to about 1 p.m., I think the satellite and radar picture is going to be pretty active with some widespread showers, some widespread storms. So that's going to contribute to a little bit of a steady cool down each and every hour. I think we'll still hover and we'll still have some of those warm temperature values, but it's all going to depend on how heavy that rain is. The heavier the rain gets, of course, it can contribute to some thunderstorms, but it also can contribute to a pretty substantial cool down with these numbers, and that is not a bad thing this time of year whatsoever. So whatever heat indices that we do see that get to the triple digits, eclipse the triple digits, they're looking to be fairly short-lived. It's only going to be a small window of the early afternoon, because I think once we head into the late afternoon, some widespread rain will be in place to knock a lot of those numbers down. So let's take a look at your satellite and radar picture. I guess nothing is actually happening over in Swainsboro. They just had a lot of fog present this morning, so a lot of low-level cloud cover, and by now the fog has lifted up a little higher in the sky, but it has created a bit of a gloomy atmosphere over here in east central Georgia. So those clouds have done a very, very good job of blocking a lot of sunshine so far today. So that's one of the benefits of having that morning time fog. It makes it very hard to see outside for the morning commute, but it can keep you cooler for a good bit longer, because you take about an hour trip away from Swainsboro to Irwinton over to Gordon, and it is scorching hot, and probably a difference of about nearly 20 to 25 degrees on that feels like number. It was feeling like 79 in Swainsboro, feels like 100 over in Gordon. So yes, just kind of showing you the difference of just because you're not too far away, you can have two completely different forecasts, even in the summertime months, when the forecast does trend the same each and every day. All right, enough with the yip yap. Let's go into future view and let's talk about those rain chances. How early could we start to see some showers and maybe even a storm pop up on the satellite and radar picture? Well, 12 p.m., that's not too far away. A little over an hour and some change away, we will see some scattered showers already bubbling up, coming in from predominantly to the west. As we progress another hour or two into the future, more widespread scattered showers, some pockets of heavier rain, some pockets of some thunderstorms, of course, probably some low-end thunderstorms. But once you start to see some of the dark red pop up, like you see right here in Houston and Bibb County, this is not saying that is going to pop up exactly over northern Houston, southern Bibb counties. This is just showing you the potential over the next couple of days. There we go. Sorry. Didn't know what the orange logo meant right there, but I was referring to some orange right here on Future View. And once again, when you see the oranges, you see the reds, that's going to indicate your heavier rainfall. It's going to indicate where you start to see those clumps of lightning together on the satellite and radar picture. And of course, it can also indicate some hail signatures, and that's going to be where your gustier winds are present. But then we continue into your Thursday evening. This is 8 p.m. Maybe getting a little bit of an early clearing associated with some of this rain. We still have some residual cloud cover, some residual light showers hanging around into the nighttime hours, which is not too abnormal. During the summertime months, some of that rain is still going to move over some of those untapped areas that didn't necessarily sprout some showers or some storms today. But 11 p.m., I did want to pause it here because we were telling you about it in the morning show. We have a buck moon tonight, which is going to be another full moon that can appear maybe a little bit red or have some cool colors in the night sky. We will have some partly cloudy skies and maybe even some rain still in the picture, but it's always worth grabbing a camera and trying to go take a peek outside to see if you can get a break in some cloud cover to where you can get a glimpse of that astronomical phenomenon. So play it by ear. Of course, don't go walking outside when there's still thunder outside, there's still heavy rain and everything that really just makes for a messy picture. But give it a shot just past sunset, more so around 9, 10, 11. We'll still have some showers in the picture, but I think there will be some ample times of clearing to where you can actually view that buck moon later on tonight. Now we go into Friday morning. If we start out like this is going to be splendid. Gorgeous sunrise, great way to end your work week. But now we go into Friday afternoon where once again, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, just right there around lunchtime, it's really kind of that start time. That's when the gun's going to fire off and the marathon's going to start, and all of the scattered showers and storms are going to continue to fire up once those temperatures just get up to the point where they're going to continue to contribute to that rising motion of all that surface humidity we have. So pretty widespread still for your Friday afternoon. We go into Friday evening, trying to clear out in central Georgia, but there's still plenty of rain all around us. Who knows if this scenario is actually going to play out by the time we get to 9 p.m. on Friday, but this would be great for Friday night plans. But as we get into the nighttime hours, you know, just for the pattern that we have been in, typically rain is going to lose its steam. It's going to lose all that fuel it has to work with, and that takes us into a clear start to your Saturday morning. Before more scattered showers are popping up into the picture, could even see a very isolated storm in nature, but overall the rain chances are looking a lot less impressive even as of the last couple of runs for your Saturday afternoon and evening, which will be very opportune. Hopefully everyone gets their rain today and tomorrow, and then we go into the weekend, and Saturday and Sunday are trending nice and dry. So let's go into your day one storm outlook. We do find ourselves in another outlook for today. This is actually very funny. We did get an update earlier this morning because I was saying something on one of my weather hits. I was like, I don't know why the western edge of Taylor County got trimmed out of this level 1, but okay, but now they are included in this level 1 out of 5 risk. This isn't anything that is abnormal either. We saw level 1 yesterday for our easternmost counties. This just means all of central Georgia has the potential for seeing a strong or even a severe thunderstorm. We saw 2 severe thunderstorm warnings yesterday, but it was very isolated to our southernmost counties. I think Pulaski, Dodge, getting into Telfair and Wheeler counties. Most of central Georgia didn't see a lot of rain yesterday, especially the farther north that you live. So everyone has that risk today. It does look like more widely scattered showers across all of the vicinity of our viewing area, just meaning a thunderstorm could have some gusty winds. If you get a severe thunderstorm warning or a special weather statement, those winds can get up to 40 to 60 miles per hour in nature. And the heavy downpours, once again, trying to highlight that for the isolated flash flooding risk. This is a lot of rain that can sit over the same area for an extended period of time. There's not a lot of very fast motion associated with some of these thunderstorms, and you will see that all of central Georgia is included in a level 1 out of 4 risk on the successive rainfall outlook. So this green shade puts us in the marginal risk, and what a marginal risk means: some isolated flash flooding, 1 or 2 flash flood warnings. It's really just going to be subject to those low-lying areas near bodies of water. So maybe a little bit of some lower ground near the Oconee, the Okmulgee, the Flint River, some of the watersheds associated with those rivers. You know, if you're nearby the lake, possibly some of those low-lying areas that don't drain well necessarily. They pack a lot of moisture at the surface. They get overly saturated very quickly. So once they're saturated at 100%, the water can't go anywhere into the ground, so it has to continue to puddle up and go above those surfaces. And just depending on how an area drains, it can create more widespread risk of some of that puddling up. We go into the day 2 storm outlook for your Friday afternoon. There's a level 1 up to the north and northeast of us. It's not quite pushing down here. Wouldn't be surprised to see some counties at least included in a level 1 out of 5 risk for tomorrow by the time we get there. But overall, your forecast still remains the same Friday as it does today. Just maybe a little less confidence in at least the severe aspect of it, but you can never rule it out of the cards in the summertime months. Saturday didn't look impressive whatsoever, but still don't be shocked if you see a stray severe thunderstorm warning pop up in an area that's really just very, very humid and it's very warm, but we're not in any form of a widespread severe weather risk for your Saturday afternoon as well. So over the next 3 days, 92 and 93 for highs Thursday and Friday, still hovering right there around average, just a tick or two below. 60% chance of a shower or storm, and another 60% chance of a shower or storm. I upped the rain chance from 40%, which I had yesterday, for Friday because I'm seeing better agreement on more widespread showers and storms. Then we go into Saturday, and this is going to be the good news. I'm still remaining pretty confident that Saturday is going to be a much lower rain chance. 30%'s overshooting it according to the latest future view run we just took a look at. We'll continue to see how it plays out, but 30%, that's more reminiscent of your typical summertime forecast. A few scattered showers, maybe an isolated strong storm, maybe even a severe storm, but overall the entirety of most of central Georgia goes without seeing something in the way of rain. And Saturday should actually still hover pretty cool, somewhere in the low 90s before we go into the end of the weekend, into the beginning of next week. Then we'll see a slight uptick in those high temperatures. But the super humidity is still remaining in the forecast today and tomorrow. You can see these dew point temperatures for Thursday and Friday are hovering a little bit above the rest of the pack. Then we go into Saturday, Sunday, still sufficient humidity, and then it's kind of fluctuating, going over little kind of moggles of, I guess if we're going to refer to this as a ski slope, sorry, just had a little bit of a brain fart there, but nonetheless, you're just going to have some noticeable, if not really, really muggy air that you can wear each and every day for the next couple of weeks. It just may be slightly lower some days, possibly Monday into next Wednesday, but we'll see how that turns out. So for your afternoon heat indices, 104 yesterday is what I had that we would kind of top out at. With the rain chances popping up pretty early in timing, just right around lunchtime, Thursday and Friday, a lot of those values will not get too far into the 100s. Of course, some isolated areas are going to climb above this. Can't really nail down the forecast for each specific area, just given the very scattered and the very unpredictable nature of these rain chances. But then going into Saturday and Sunday, we will see an uptick in those values in light of lesser rain chances, especially on Sunday, because we'll notice a little bit of a temperature uptick as well, because the humidity isn't going to be as muggy. We're not talking upper 70s, near 80-degree dew points, maybe back down into the mid 70s, which is a little bit more bearable. Doesn't really make that much difference this time of year. The big thing I want you to know is rain chances will be a lot more scattered out starting Saturday, and that will continue into Sunday as we go into the long range models. We pick it up on Monday at 8 p.m. Still looks like better agreement that the state of Florida is going to see their fair share of rainfall on Monday afternoon. However, up here in central Georgia, it's still a little more uncertain. I'm maintaining and carrying over that 30% chance of a shower or storm for Saturday and Sunday all the way into Monday next week. But then we go into Tuesday at 8 p.m. right now. It's looking like better agreement that there is a good amount of rain in the southeast corner of the United States. And then I have some weirder pause points, not necessarily in that evening time frame each day, because take a look at what's going on off here, the eastern coast of the United States. This does look like a good amount of agreement of some more intense rainfall, maybe possibly indicating some spin or some circulation per se. So this is far from set in stone and far from very, very organized whatsoever. And this is still a week ahead of time, but it is worth noting that maybe towards the midweek next week, we start to see some kind of potential tropical characteristic storm start to form and start to brew, whether it's in the northern Atlantic, the area that we have outlined, but it's still very slim chances that could easily flip over to the eastern or the western Atlantic Ocean, but the eastern coast of the United States. And then you can see right here, it's pretty good agreement. There's lots of blue, there's lots of green, and there is a good amount of agreement on some red, even some pink, about a possible center of circulation going all the way to Thursday at 11 a.m. off the Carolina coast in the Atlantic Ocean. We'll see how this plays out. This is just what a couple long-range model runs are saying this far out, a week out ahead of time. This is literally a week out ahead of time. This is 11 a.m. next Thursday. So we'll continue to see how that plays out. Models go all the way to 4 p.m. next Thursday, and there's still something out there in the Atlantic Ocean. But whatever it is, the consensus is going to kind of ride up the Carolina coast. Very similar to what Tropical Storm Chantal did, but it is very, very unpredictable this far out. We might get some better rain chances as we head into the end of next week, as it does currently stand, if that situation plays. Now we go into your 7-day forecast, 60 and 60 for those percent chances of rain today and tomorrow. Then we see the downtick Saturday and Sunday. So let's get the rain out of here during these pesky weekdays. And then for your Saturday and Sunday outdoor plans for the summertime, you should look mostly dry, and 30% is still overshooting it. If we see more agreement that we're not going to see very widespread rain on Saturday and Sunday, we'll continue to trim those chances down, but 30% is always kind of a safety net number to go to in order for this time of year, because you can see more activity, you can see a little bit less activity. Kind of just depends on the day and the environment and the setup that you do have. But I did tell you about the uptick in temperatures, 92 to 95 from Saturday to Sunday. And we continue up to 96 on Monday and Tuesday. So while we won't have the very super muggy air in place as we head into the end of the weekend, it's really going to be noticeable humidity. It's going to be swampy air. I don't know why I said that. It's just not going to be to the levels that we've seen yesterday, today, and into tomorrow. The uptick in temperatures should compensate for that. So that's why the feels like numbers are still going to climb somewhere around 100, even a couple degrees above the 100-degree mark. And with less of a rain chance in the forecast, that is a greater chance of putting us in possible heat advisory criteria as we roll into the end of the weekend, the beginning of next week. We haven't seen that outline so far, and not probably a pretty good percentage chance of that happening, but we'll fine tune it as we get closer. Either way, it's going to be hot. You know, it's July in central Georgia. Obviously, each and every day is going to be forecasted something up to 90, and you're probably rooting for somewhat of a shower because it will cool those numbers down and it won't feel as unbearable outside. But then we see a little bit of an uptick in the rain chances Tuesday and Wednesday, and that's possibly due to maybe something forming, at least something semi-organized, a cluster of moisture that could send more widespread showers, maybe even a couple of storms into the southeast vicinity of the United States. But that's just where it stood as of this morning. I do have more confidence in Tuesday and Wednesday having slightly more of a rain chance than Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, but it's still 6 to 7 days out. We'll continue to fine tune that forecast as we get closer. As we head into the weekend, just be prepared, have that umbrella ready, the rain jacket handy when thunder roars, go indoors. But if you don't catch any rain, then be sure you're taking care of your body. Sunscreen, sunglasses, make sure you're hydrating, electrolytes or a bottle of water, and of course, make sure you take those breaks in the shade. It does get quite unbearable out there, and the shade feels a world different than that blistering direct sunlight. So that's where things continue to stand. Overall, not too atypical for a July time forecast here in central Georgia. We are coming up on 11 a.m. though, so thank you for tuning in to the extended forecast. And tomorrow's Friday, so we will be back, but I will be doing a couple of weekend event previews if we have anything to talk about, a couple of other special graphics, and we'll go well into your extended forecast with some of the temperature and the precipitation outlooks. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you at 10:30 sharp tomorrow.